Okay, as promised, we're doing lesson 6 now, and as I said, this is a biggie. We only have 5 objectives, but it can be overwhelming, right? So we learned how to, with lesson 5, we learned how to name, where is lesson 5? We learned how to name alkanes, right? You just watched that a second ago. So here, we're only doing 5 sections, but we're going to here, first of all, name alkyl halides. Then we're going to name ethers. Then we're going to name alcohols. Then we're going to name amines. I think I skipped one. Okay, I go from objective 1, 3, 4, 5. Let's look at this. Section 3.4 is alkyl halides. Then section 3.5 is ethers. 3.6 is alcohols. 3.7 is amines. What? 4, 5, 6, and 7. Huh. Okay. All right. Yes, I can count. So, these are the 4 things we're going to do, and it's going to be overwhelming if you're waiting for class to learn how to name alkanes, for example, right? Because that's what we did in the previous section. Alkanes and cycloalkanes. So all in one night, we're doing that. Now, I didn't say we're learning how to do that all in one night because it's important that you have gotten some of the framework for this before we get to class. So we're ironing out the kinks by the time we get to class. All right, so let's talk about alkyl halides first. There we go. Cycloalkanes, alkanes, and cycloalkanes. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do, just to review the rules, is first thing we're going to do is we're going to identify the principal functional group in a compound. And then we're going to identify the longest continuous carbon chain with the principal functional group in it. And I'm recommending that you circle it and nothing else. And then the next thing we're going to do is identify all the substituents. Those are the things that are not yet circled. We're going to address each of them and then circle it so you know it's taken care of. And then we're going to alphabetize everything and tape it all together. Okay? So let's do an example. Let's do an example. Let's put this to the side here and say we're going to do, well, we're doing alkyl halides first, right? Alkyl halides. So we'll do this, we'll do a nice little simple one. Boom. Okay? So we first of all identify the principal functional group. Well, it's a halide. Okay? Then identify the longest continuous carbon chain with the principal functional group in it. 1, 2, 3, 4, and yes, the principal functional group is in this. So there's our circle. And we write butane. Now, oops, I forgot to say change name to accommodate principal functional group. Okay, well, there's 2 ways to name alkyl halides. Number 1 is alkyl halides, and the other is haloalkanes. Okay, I will usually probably go to the second one, but let's practice this first one. If it's an alkyl halide, then what we're going to do is we're going to change that to il bromide. Right? Can you see how that's an alkyl halide? It's butyl bromide. Okay, and how would you do this if it was a haloalkane? I'm going to leave you for that. I'm going to leave that for you. You do that as a haloalkane. All right? So now that we've done that, we have to identify all substituents. Well, in this case, we've got to say where the functional group is, the principal functional group, and we're going to call it as a substituent, and we have to address it. So I can see it's closer to this end of the carbon, so I'm going to call that carbon 1, or this end of the compound, carbon 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it is 1-butyl bromide. Okay? Or what, right? You do that one there. Address it. And then we alphabetize and we tape everything together. All right, we'll do that. We'll do another elaborate example here in a second. Okay, let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That. Okay, first of all, we identify the principal functional group. Bromo. Okay. Identify the longest continuous carbon chain with the principal functional group in it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pentane. Okay. We circle it, make sure we've taken care of that. That's taken care of. Now we identify all the substituents. Well, we've got a bromo in it, and we have to number it. I can see it's closer to this end, so I'm going to say 1, 2. Okay, so it's 2 bromobutane. We've addressed it, because I put a 2 on there, and we have to alphabetize and tape everything together. Well, there's no alphabetization here. Just 1 second. Because there's only one substituent, so I don't alphabetize that. Now I have to tape everything together. So this is the hard part. Sort of depends on how tactile you are, I guess. What I'm going to do is cut both of them out at the same time. Right, make myself a nice little square. Get rid of the extra paper there. I want this to be neat and clean. Get rid of that space. I want that to be so. Okay, and tape everything together. There we go. Boom. Right, look at that. I know what you're thinking. This guy's a genius. I won't step aside from that accolade at this point, but I don't want to promote myself either. I'll just let you be the judge of that. Look at that. Tape everything together, and we're done. 2-bromopentane. Okay, let's do the same thing now with an ether. This is a little more complicated. With ethers, we are, I'm losing my papers here, aren't I? With ethers, we are going to, it's just a little more complicated. So 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm making something up here, okay? 5. Alright, so the longest continuous carbon chain with the principal function group in it. Where is the longest continuous carbon chain with the principal function group in it? Right here. Okay. So, and then we're going to name this as the substituent. 1, 2, 3. Propane. Okay, and the way that we name ethers is alkoxy, alkanes, right? So what's the substituent on there? 1, 2. Ethoxy, which I've just named, got that too. So the name of this is ethoxypropane. Alright. What about naming, oh by the way, there's common names to name these too, right? There's, in other words, scientists have used these for over the years. So for example, with something like that, the IUPAC name would be ethoxy ethane. But there's another way to name this called the common name for it, and that would be diethyl ether. Okay, that's another name for it. And I have bad news for you. There's yet one more name, and that is when ether was first used, it was really this stuff right here. So when we say simply ether, this is what we're talking about. Alright? So name this with at least 2 naming conventions. 2 naming conventions. Please name those. Alright. Let's go on to the next thing. Alcohols. Okay? Okay, the longest continuous carbon chain with the principal function group in it. There's the principal function group. Took care of that. We identified it right there. It is cyclohexane. Okay? Change the name to accommodate the principal functional group. In this case, we're going to change the ending cyclohexane, get rid of the E, and put all, cyclohexanol. We identify all substituents. Hydroxy, there's my cyclohexane. Hydroxy is the only substituent. We've already accounted for that. And so we don't have to alphabetize or tape together. We can save our scissor work for later. Alright, I do want to point out that there's a note in the margin of your text that says you don't name that. You don't say where it is if it's a cyclo, because we're going to automatically say that's carbon number 1. So this is simply cyclohexanol. Alright, one more example with alcohols, and I want to demonstrate a little trick that could pertain to most any of these. Let's look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright. Okay. So, identify the principal functional group. Hydroxy. Now, identify the longest continuous carbon chain, with the principal functional group in it. With the principal functional group in it. Circle it and nothing else. Okay? Now we've got to say 1. You can't say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 because that doesn't have the principal functional group in it. This does. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So here is the longest continuous carbon chain with the principal functional group in it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is heptane. Change the name to accommodate the principal functional group. Heptane all. Identify the substituents. Here's 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. Address it. There's the beginning of it because it's close to the principal functional group. 2, 3. So it looks like it's. Oh, I forgot to say it what it was. Right? We found one. We didn't say what it was. Butyl. And it's on the 2 carbon, so it's 2-butyl heptanol. So we cut that out. I know what you're thinking. You're a genius. Keep everything together. Boom. Send that off to Mom, and we're done. Alright, just one more trick that I'll demonstrate with the last one. We're doing amines this time. Okay, we did alcohols, now we're doing amines. Let's, there's one more thing we haven't even addressed, and that's what if you have 2 different substituents? We'll do that here with the amine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. The longest carbon chain with the principal functional group in it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, but let's do this now. Okay, so I've got a couple substituents. The principal functional group, a good rule of thumb, it's always the last one that we did. The principal functional group, because we're going to do these in order of their principalness. And so the amine is of higher priority than the bromine. There are exceptions to the principalness, I guess, but it turns out the principal functional group here is the amine. So we identify the principal functional group. Boom. Find the longest continuous carbon chain with the principal functional group in it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I can just do that. So it's hexane. All right. Now we change the name to accommodate the functional group, which is amine. So it's hexanamine. I know that's ugly. And now we have to identify all the substituents. I've already taken care of that one. So here's another one. Bromo. And here's another one. Methyl. Okay. And we have to number this so that the principal functional group gets the lowest number possible. 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3. 3-hexanamine, which I should have done before. And now that we've got our 2 substituents, the methyl's on the 2 and the bromo's on the 4. So now we cut this. I was just joking about cutting it out. Okay, I'm not going to do this next one. So we cut it out figuratively right in our heads. But we put everything together, and now that I've got 2 substituents, I've got to say which goes first, the 2 or the 4, or the M or the B. Right? B goes first, so it's 4 bromo, 2-methyl, 3-hexane amine. Wow, beautiful. Okay, so you're going to need to practice that. Hopefully you will have done your homework by then. I think almost everybody did their homework for this last time, so I'm hopeful about that you'll come to class having sort of taught yourself the lower level thinking exercises, and we will do the more elaborate ones together in class. Please bring your questions to class. That's lesson 6. See you on Tuesday.